Welcome back. And for more on the regional production hubs and open supply chains of vaccines to ensure equitable distribution, joining us right now is Tian Johnson. He's the founder, lead strategist, the African Alliance member, South African Ministerial Advisory Committee on COVID-19 vaccines, member and community engagement co-chair, African CDC COVID-19 African Vaccine Delivery Alliance. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. First, what are your thoughts on how slow vaccination is moving across Africa?
I think it is absolutely outrageous. It is immoral, it is unjust, it is violent, but it is also the way the system has been set up to work. So the reality we see across Africa today is a direct result of a system that has been in place for years that was meant to do exactly what it is doing today. The inequitable access, the fact that we're seeing countries in the global north vaccinating young children who are at minimal risk of COVID before we in Africa can even vaccinate our healthcare workers is an absolute moral outrage. And there needs to be a lot more pressure put on those who are responsible for the condition we are in today.
With the regional production hubs we hear is coming to 4 African countries, are you optimistic? What do you expect?
I'm cautiously optimistic. These regional hubs are not going to materialize overnight. This is a seed that has been planted and is a great seed. But like President Ramaphosa had said time and time again, what we need vaccines now. We cannot wait for facilities to start producing. We need vaccines now. We need to call on countries in the global north to share doses. We still have countries who are hoarding. So countries in the global north need to share doses immediately. Pharmaceutical companies need to come to the table urgently and wash the blood off their hands. It is because of farmer greed and inadequate government responsibility that we are in the position we are in today. So I do think the regional hubs are important, but they're not an immediate fix. People are dying today. This continent is in the middle of a third wave. We are seeing deaths like we've never seen before, some of the highest rates in some parts of South Africa today. So it's absolutely urgent. We cannot wait for those hubs. The hubs are good and we'll get there and we'll support them. But right now, we need equitable and urgent access.
I've heard a former president in Africa, of a country in Africa, say that Africa's main challenge is the lack of funds. It's not being able to harness available resources, that we have enough funds and we also have enough resources. And what's your take on that, especially homegrown solutions that are needed to address a challenge such as this?
I think we absolutely need homegrown solutions. I think part of the reason why we find ourselves in the place where we are today is because perhaps what we do own in terms of accountability is that we should have really been more proactive long ago. We've learned lessons from HIV. We should have been proactive long ago in terms of our manufacturing capacity to hit the ground running for this pandemic and certainly the next pandemic. I do not think it is a matter of money. At the outset, bodies within the African CDC, like Avad, have said, went to manufacturers and they said, we're not asking for charity. We do not want charity. We want justice. We are willing and able to pay for the vaccines. But what we need the countries who are practicing greed in the global north to share their space in the queue. We need access to buy. But of course, all of that is in the context of this artificial global shortage that we are currently in. So it's not a matter of financing right now. What it is a matter of is about equitable access and giving up some places in the queue by those wealthy countries who are already vaccinating their children.
Just before we let you go, South Africa is facing a resurgence, a lot of people are wondering how fast is testing ongoing and also what is the variant of concern at the moment?
Yeah, we've got the beta variant in South Africa. We've seen the rise of various other variants, Alpha in the UK, Delta in India, now we have Delta Plus. But we're not going to hear the end of these variants. We're going to see more and more variants and different types of variants. And this is a direct result of not vaccinating fast enough. The way we shut down the next deadly variant is by vaccinating people urgently. In South Africa, we've just tested over 70,000 people. In the last 24 hours, 166 deaths. We're in the full throes of a third wave. And so it's absolutely important that communities and those in power understand that the way to prevent the next super variant is to get as many people vaccinated now. The time is now.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Tian Johnson, founder, lead strategist, the African Alliance. Thank you for joining us on the program.